Hi guys, it's Kamdevi Sharma, life coach and business consultant. In this video, we're talking about feedback, negative feedback in particular. So Mary said, "Hi Kamla, I love your videos. I am finding it difficult to deal with my boss right now. I am being judged often and I feel he's only criticizing me. I'm also not getting a promotion as was promised. I don't know how to deal with this situation. Can you advise me? Love, Mary." So Mary, thank you for reaching out firstly. Secondly, what kind of person are you? Are you open to feedback or are you resistant to feedback? Are you someone who usually takes feedback and try to grow from it? Do you search yourself to see if it has any relevance to you, or do you normally shut it down because you think to yourself it has no meaning to you and that's not you, that is the other person, or what? It's important for you to know who you are and how open you are to information that you're receiving, whether it's positive or negative. Me, for example, I've always taken on a learning approach to myself, and I've always attracted experiences in my life where I need to learn so that I can grow. So what you need to know, what are you opening yourself up to? I open myself up to learning. So it doesn't matter whatever challenge I am facing, I try to learn what I need to learn from it and go past it. And that's how I look at it. It's coming before me to learn something so that I can grow and be better. Now, feedback in general, when it comes to people saying things about you, you need to search yourself to see if it has any relevance to who you are. For example, 4 years ago, I was in full-time employment. All along on that job, I've been receiving positive feedback. I got salary increases and so forth. There came a time where I had asked for an increase, or if not, I didn't see the value in this position anymore and I wanted to leave. I got the increase and I stayed on the job. Now, I started to face a lot of unnecessary pressure and things had become very hectic for me. So what I did was to check in with myself. What's really happening here, and is this what I really wanted? Like, is this aligned with who I am and the vision that I have for myself? Now, when I started to receive negative feedback, I did the same thing. I had no intention to respond or react. I wanted to know where it was coming from and did it belong to me? And was there any area in my life that I needed to improve? Were these people seeing something in me that I wasn't seeing myself? What is the situation? What I learned then was that what I received was not about me. It was not helping me in any form or fashion. The information didn't belong to me. It's just a case where my vision was no longer aligned with their vision. We were two different persons, and I needed to make a decision based on this because I had no interest in reviving the relationship. I had no interest in staying. So I left because I didn't want to spend my time and energy trying to fix people's perception of me. So you got to know who you are. You got to be clear to that extent so that you know that you can make decisions in your best interest and not in anyone else's interest. Because at that time, I was stretched really thin and my emotions were all over the place. And that was a time where I felt to myself, I don't have the time and energy for this. I had a no-nonsense approach. I still have a no-nonsense approach. But for me, it was really important that I stay connected to me and I kept making decisions in my best interest. I kept putting me first because that was the way in which the universe brought that out to me. Because all along, I was putting everyone else first. I was putting everyone else before me. And that's where I went wrong. So it was a time where I needed to make that decision and I needed to go past that situation in my life. So that is how you can check in with yourself to see what is the feedback there for. Is it you or is it the other person? If it's the other person, then just leave it up to them. It's their karma. Let them do what they have to do. You just keep on doing what you have to do and grow. I wouldn't say to you to leave or to stay. You have to make a personal decision and it has to be intuitively made. Like for me, I knew to myself that, and I knew very intuitively too that it made no sense staying there and it was time for me to leave. And even in my life too, like I've always been receiving negative feedback when I have started to work. I was too young to work, but I was doing really well in whatever work I was doing. When I started to teach, I was too young to teach. I was teaching university level. I was too young to teach. That was the feedback that I got from not persons that I were teaching, but from my co-workers, that you're too young to teach. And what I used that to do was to motivate me, because even though I was too young to teach, I was still getting successes. My students were still passing with good grades, and that made me feel good. So even if I was too young to teach, then that's okay. That's okay. I'm still getting results, and that's what I work with. I work with the results, right? And there isn't, and being too young is always been a challenge for me. I've always been hearing, you're too young, you're too young, you're too young. It's okay, I'm too young. I'm 30 years old. Today I'm 30 years old. I'll be 31 years old on January 1st. I don't think that's a secret. I don't need to hide it because I'm very proud of who I have become at 30 years old. I am very healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's something that I always willed into my life from a very young age. I always want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm mentally, physically healthy. I'm mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially wealthy. And I'm very wise. I was able to tap into my inner guidance, and I have a flood of wisdom within me that I'm so proud of, and I love sharing with those that I'm connecting with. So this is how I've used feedback to help me. And I know the kind of person that I've grown to be. I mean, I've left a fixed mindset and got into a growth mindset easily. And I love teaching people this. I love it in coaching. And this is why I picked up coaching too, because it's something that I've always been doing, but I've never done it as a career. And now I love it. I love it. I love the value that I get from it. I love seeing people's life change drastically. I love walking the path with them. I love seeing them being challenged and helping them to go past these challenges. I just love it. And you can never be too young for anything. So that statement, you're too young, has always been following me. And today, even if I hear it, I say, okay, thank you. I'm too young and I'm doing really good for my young age. And I say that very proudly. I'm doing really good. I say confidently, I'm doing really good. And I don't see myself as being too young for anything. I mean, my 3-year-old is too young to be teaching me, but he's teaching me. He's grounding me in what to say and what not to say. He's grounding me in telling a better story. Like instead of saying don't make a mess, I try to say keep the place clean so that he does that. Instead of not opening the doors, I say keep the doors closed so that he doesn't open it and empty all the contents. Those kind of things. So you're never too young for anything. And for me, I've always taken on a learning approach. So whatever information comes to me, whether it's positive or negative, I try to use it to see how I can best grow from it. Even up to Saturday, someone said to me, the person had some issues. They're telling me their issues. I'm proposing to them a training, and they said, it's meditation. I already know that. There's nothing special about what you're doing. And I said, okay, you didn't read the page. There's nothing special about what I'm doing. That's okay. Just you can keep on following me. That's all right. I am not going to spend my time and energy trying to convince any of my clients or any person of what I'm doing, because I know who I am. I know the value that I have. And if you're following me for a long time and you're not able to see who I am, the person that I have become and the person that I'm trying to help other people to become, then there's no use working with you, and I'm not interested in working with you. I don't put myself down to the case where I am lucky to be working with you. I feel blessed to be working with you, but at the same time, for you to be working with me, it's my decision. So we do have something that's called a mutually fit call, where I decide whether or not I am going to be working with you, even though you're willing and ready to work with me. So it's not a case where you just pay and I say, okay, you're a new client, I'm going to work with you. No. I have my own standards, I have my own values, I have my own principles. I know where I am, I know my mindset, and we need to be matching in some form or fashion before I decide if I'm going to work with you. So whoever I pitch that offer to, you guys are so lucky, because just to be clear, it's not something that I offer to everyone. Coaching is not something that I offer to everyone, because even though you may say you want to work with me, you may have ulterior motives. You may think that, oh, I'm just going to work with her, I'm just going to pay her the money and I'm going to try, but I'm not going to make that effort to go through. And that's important. If you don't have that willingness to grow, to improve, then we can't work with each other. If you're going to be judgmental and critical, then we can't work with each other, because you're not even open to learning. You're not even open to growing. So when I got that feedback on Saturday, I ended the conversation because it had no relevance to me anymore. I'm not going to waste my time and energy trying to convince anyone of working with me when I know to myself, you need to be convincing me for me to work with you. That's where I put myself in this entire coaching relationship. Okay? So I think, Mary, that's it for now. That's my advice to you. Just check in with yourself, search yourself to see if you can use information to help yourself to grow in any form or fashion. Or if not, just let it be and make a decision in your best interest. I wouldn't say to leave, but make a decision in your best interest. Ensure that you're able to communicate clearly. Try not to be emotional about it, because that's actually one mistake that I had made. I hadn't control over my emotions at one point in time, and I just exploded and said what I had to say without caring the repercussions or the consequences of it, whatever. I was just so frustrated at that time, and I just exploded. But it doesn't have to be that way, because I learned to be different. I learned that you need to be more emotionally intelligent. You need to be grounded in who you really are and not feel sorry that you are who you are. Like today, I'm not sorry for who I am, because I think I've done a really good job at being who I am. I think I've come a really far way. I've been able to succeed challenges in many areas of my life, in finance, in relationships, in studies, and this is why I attack these aspects, and I teach in these aspects. I coach in these aspects because I really had the experiences in them, and I grow past them, and I know how to help people to grow past them, right? So this is why I love what I do, and whoever I am today is because of the tools and strategies that I share with my clients to help them to grow to be a better version of themselves. And this is what is most important to me, to help you to grow, to improve yourself, to improve your mindset, to be a better version of yourself, because that's life. Life is really about living in full enjoyment, and to live in full enjoyment, you need to have a level of comfort and satisfaction in who you are. And that's something that I really learned. You need to be able to communicate clearly and express who you really are without being guilty about it, without being fearful of it, without feeling intimidated by it. All right? So that's it for now. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope you were able to learn about feedback and what you can do with it and how it can help you to grow. Much love to you guys. Remember too that if you're interested in working with me, you just need to reach out to me. We're going to have that call, and then I decide on whether or not we're going to take the relationship forward. Have a great day, and remember to live in full enjoyment always, because that's life. Much love, guys. Bye.